back to internal security sessions. So today we are going to learn about national security strategy. Before that, we'll just recap what all we discussed in the last session so that we will make sure that we are using the similar terms as much as possible so that we'll be able to answer in the mains in a similar pattern. So we have just seen how much conceptual clarity is important. So we'll be defining what is it and why is it relevant to internal security and the recent data or the example. Okay, then we saw like internal security challenges. Under that mostly we must talk about terrorism and extremism and left wing extremism, insurgency and nationalism, cyber security threats and communalism and religious violence. And then in case of role of external factors, we will be talking about cross-border terrorism like proxy war, then illegal migration like Bangladesh and Myanmar migration, so which will impact the demographics. Then organized crimes, I told yesterday also, whenever you talk about organized crimes, it is about drug trafficking, arms smuggling, human trafficking and their related or ties to terrorism. Then we should be looking into government policies and initiatives. So for that we should be sure on institutional mechanism like RAW, NIA, etc. Then policy framework, we have certain laws called Unlawful Activity Prevention Act, then OSPAM and National Cyber Security Policy, etc. Then we should be talking about modernization of security forces like better intelligence and use of technology. Then particularly for technology, we have to study role of technology in internal security. Whenever we talk about that, we will be talking about three major headings: surveillance, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and cyber defense measures. So after that, capacity building and training of security forces. For that, we have to modernize the police and parliamentary forces, and border management has to be taken care. Also strengthen the intelligence network. Then coordination is important between the interstate agencies and the state and center. Also we should be seeing this need for multi-agency centers. Then regional and global cooperation. Under that we have to see about SAARC role, Indo-US, Indo-Russia cooperation and US-UN role, etc. Then recommendation and way forward. Under that we must be following policy reforms, technological upgradation and capacity building, public awareness. So apart from that, we should be giving a solution oriented approach with a visionary statement, right? So I just revised it in a fast manner so that we'll be making sure that we are going to use the similar one in today's session. So as we discussed in depth in last session, I just quickly revised the things. So we should also keep in mind that we must use data and reports whenever it is possible, and legal provisions, examples and also balanced analysis. And also finally we should also link with the global concerns. These are the points we have discussed in the last class, and today we are starting with national security strategy in India. So what is this national security strategy? So India also should have a strategy which is related to its security. So first I told in making notes we should be knowing what is it and how is it important to the internal security, right? So with that we'll see this. So what is national security? I'll just take this so that I can mark. Yeah. So it is set of basic principles and a consent summary. For what? For country's strategic vision and objectives. It is aiming to national interest. So basic principles which gives a summary of vision and objectives. For what? For country's national interest or country's interest or national interest. Okay. And a security, safeguarding national interest. Okay, this is a definition. So what is done? Now we should be knowing the importance. Why is it important for internal security? Why? Because see, we know for responding to evolving threats. What were the evolving threats? We have seen about complex threats like proxy war. I read when I was reading about internal security, right? Then technological advancement, about that also cyber security and digital threats we have seen. And then gray zone warfare, so engaging in conflict at blurring the lines. Okay, so this is the three major events that we are going to respond. You can write some more also for cross border terrorism, etc. But evolving are these. So technology, definitely. Complex threats like proxy wars, of course. Gray zone warfare, yes. So there are some key codes we should be kind of having memorized so that we can use in any of the answer writing part. Okay, Ajit Doval said, the new frontier of war, what you call the fourth generation warfare, is civil society. He mean to say that now the fourth generation of warfare is focusing on completely, like, mostly on civil societies. What does it mean? One second. So it means not only inside the boundaries, but we are also kind of affecting civilians mostly. So that is where the fourth generation warfare comes into. So that is what Ajit Doval said, right? Yeah, we are almost there. Give me a second. Good. So first we have seen why we need this national security strategy. Then we saw what is the importance. We have complex threats like proxy war and then technological advancements and grey zone warfare. Then we have seen the code that is a new frontier of war, that is fourth generation of war, is mostly related to civil society. And also Shivashankar Menon also said one, that three attempts were made to come out with national security strategy, but there was hesitation at a political level. So there is a kind of political hesitation, that's why we are not able to do national security strategy so far, is what mentioned by Shivashankar Menon. We'll see in depth in later parts. Okay. Okay, fine. So current status. What is the current status of national security strategy in India? So in India, we lack the formal NSS document. We don't have a formal NSS document. India does not have consolidated NSS document, unlike US and China. Even Pakistan is having. So various agencies handle different aspects. So we don't have one uniform national security strategy, but different agencies will handle it. What are those different agencies or initiatives if not NSS? So there are certain government initiatives like defense policy. We have defense policy. So what we are doing is, under defense policy we are modernizing the things. So example, we are using Agni 5 missile, Rafale aircraft, etc. Okay, so we don't have one NSS, national strategy, national security strategy. Okay, comprehensively we don't have, but we are doing it in under a different initiative. One such initiative is defense policy. Under this we have modernization efforts. So for that example, Agni 5 missile and Rafale aircraft, right? So we'll see what is the second thing we are doing. For see, we have three things. One is technology. Under that, cyber security is one of the important. So under cyber security measures, we kind of using SCRT cert in. That means Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, so this is there for cyber security measures and initiative under National Cyber Security Policy. So under this policy also, National Cyber Security Policy in 2013 also we are focusing on cyber security measure, and also certain, this is Computer Emergency Response Team is there for that. Okay, apart from that, diplomacy also we are kind of maintaining, that is strengthening ties with Quad and BRICS and Indo-Pacific cooperation and some other also. So we are diplomatically also we are making ourselves strong to tackle the security. Okay, have to tackle anything against the security. Okay, so for internal security we have formation of agencies like National Investigation Agency, NIA. NSG is National Security Guard for counter terrorism. Okay, to counter terrorism, what now we have? NIA, and that is NIA is National Investigation Agency and NSG is National Security Guard. Under these things we are focusing. Okay, not comprehensively under NSS so far, but as of now we have read under different initiative. What is the first initiative? Defense policy. We have modernization. So done. Example Agni 5. Then we have cyber security. We have 13. So that is done, and also National Cyber Security 2013 Act is also there. For diplomacy, we are going with strong ties with BRICS and Quad, etc. Then we have internal security. For that, NIA, National Investigation Agency and National Security Guard. Apart from that, what are the challenges we should see now? So geopolitical challenges and internal security issues. How geopolitics is affecting our internal security, we will just have a look. Geopolitical challenges. Example, threats from neighbors, particularly China, border tensions and Pakistan cross-border terrorism. So this is one of the key terms we should be using whenever you talk about internal security, that is geopolitical challenges. So we have threat from China and we have cross-border terrorism from Pakistan. So then we have rising internal security issues. What are internal security issues? We read in the beginning the important points, that is Naxalism, you can talk communal, also terrorism, also you can use religious violence. Okay, so that is rising internal security. Example, data example I have given. India ranks 10th on global terrorism index, underscoring significant internal security concerns. So we are ranking 10th under global security index. Okay, so this is the data that will show us the proof, right? Then we have technological threats also. What are those? Cyber attacks. We have again read in the beginning, right? So example, over 4 million cyber attacks reported in just 2022 year. Okay, 4 million cyber attacks. So technology wise also we are in a fragile state. Then global power realignments. Okay, India role in a multipolar world necessitates cohesive defense and diplomatic strategies. So we have to be strong because multipolar world necessitates India, right, to be strong. So this is the geopolitical challenges. What are those? Once again, when you talk about geopolitical challenges, we should talk about geopolitical challenges in terms of China and Pakistan, because that is where we are facing the threat. Then we have internal security. What were those? As we read in the beginning, that is Naxalism, communalism, etc. Then we have technological threats. When you talk about the technology, you should talk about cyber attacks. Okay, then global power realignments also is there. That's why we should be strong is what the point we should be mentioning. So under national security strategy, so what are the challenges that we are facing because we are not able to somehow form it, right? What are the challenges? Why we are not able to? Why? Because interagency coordination issues. If you remember, yesterday also I told the term coordination. Coordination and cooperation are such important things. If it is not there, we can't do anything. So one such challenge is interagency coordination issues. Lack of unified command leads to inefficiency. Example, issues with the intelligence sharing. So yesterday I was also saying the importance of intelligence sharing. So that is not there. So one point is there is no cooperation. Interagency cooperation is not there. Then we have a complex threat environment. So balancing traditional military security with non-traditional threats. Like we have already seen, what are the new threats we are facing? Like cyber security, proxy wars, climate change. So it becomes so complex. Now complex threat environment is there. It's not so easy. Single line it is not there. It is like multi-way. It is complex, right? Then we have the problem of resource. This is the major points. If you don't have resource and you have so many strategies, what is the use? So resource allocation is one such important point. Limited defense budget. India's defense spending was approximately 2.2% of GDP, lower than China's, which is 2.5 to 3%. So our GDP is only 2.2% for defense. Okay, so resource allocation is also a problem. Then we have technology. So this is one other key term, technology. Slow adaptation of cutting edge technologies in military and cyber defense. It's very slow. So what are the important things? See, whenever you write about challenges, cooperation and coordination is very important. Resources are much more important. Then we should be, what is the recent thing? Technology. Technology is also important. And now it is becoming complex. When you talk about security, it is becoming complex. That point also we should be able to mention. Okay. So apart from that, we'll go for the committee recommendation. So what are the committees and what they recommended for NSS? So there is something called Kargil Review Committee, which emphasized on the need for a coherent national security strategy post-Kargil conflict. So even that Kargil Review Committee suggested we should have a comprehensive NSS, right? Next, Naresh Chandra Task Force on Security 2011 recommended an integrated approach. So this is where we are missing, right? Integrated approach. So this is what is required for national security as recommended by Naresh Chandra Task Force on Security. So thirdly, Raksha Mantri's Operational Directive 2009. It needs a revision as it is now outdated. So that is what it necessitates the formation of formal NSS. Right. So 1:2 committee we said, Kargil Review Committee and Naresh Chandra Task Force Committee, Security Committee. Okay. Then we have Raksha Mantri Operational Directive also getting outdated, so we have to revise it. So under this recommendation, at least we should frame. So this is also necessitating NSS formation. Okay. So what kind of recommendations are there for NSS? Why we need it? So what kind of recommendations do we have for strong NSS? Developing a comprehensive NSS document is needed. So create a formal, integrated strategy document involving stakeholders from various sectors. Actually what they are asking here, when they say about integrated strategy, this is important term is what I told before also, integrated strategy. That means cooperative and coordinated strategy. Okay. So integrated strategy, so that you will be sharing the intelligence reports and defense with the economy, etc. Right. So second one is strengthening cyber security infrastructure. I told when we are speaking about there is a threats, we are speaking about cyber security. To tackle that, we have certain capabilities. So we have to enhance those capabilities, and we also should implement data protection laws and build national level cyber deterrence. Okay. So again, cyber security we should expand cert in, and then data protection laws has to be implemented. Then defense modernization, we already told about when we are talking about introduction Agni 5, we are modernizing, but still more budget has to be focused towards it. Okay, example DRDO initiative should be accepted. Okay. Next we have reinforcing internal security mechanism. So internal security mechanism has to be reinforced. So how can you reinforce? By enhancing the capability of NIA, IB and state police to effectively tackle terrorism, Naxalism and communal violence. Okay, so we were talking about institutional mechanism in the beginning. So that point only I am reusing, right? Internal security mechanism. Okay, then we have diplomatic engagement, strengthen regional security framework with Quad BIMSTEC to manage threats from China, Pakistan and non-state borders. Right. So these are the important points. So one thing is a comprehensive document should be there so that you will have an integrated strategy. Then we also should strengthen the cyber security. For that we should use certain. Then modernize the defense. For that we have to improve our budget allocation. Then reinforce the internal security mechanism, so that how we are giving more strength to NIA and other agencies, right? Intelligence Bureau and all. Then we should also strengthen our diplomatic engagements. So global best practices for NSS. Now we'll see across world how is it. Okay. United Nations or United States NSS released regularly outlining national security priorities across military, economic and cyber domains. So United Nations also United States is also having NSS, and it is like regularly it is released. Okay, then we have Russia's NSS focuses on military preparedness and enhancing cyber capabilities. See, they are focusing on military, cyber, and also US on economic as well. China emphasizes military modernization, security trade routes, and enhancing cyber capabilities under the Belt and Road Initiative. So under Belt and Road Initiative, so everyone are trying to modernize cyber security, against cyber security, military modernization, and securing their trade routes, etc. So even we should also take some lessons from other global best examples or practices. So in conclusion, what kind of approach India should follow? India should follow holistic approach. India's NSS should be multi-dimensional, addressing both traditional and non-traditional. What are non-traditional? Proxy wars, cyber attacks, these things. And institutionalizing NSS. Regular updates and reviews are essential to adopt evolving challenges. So regularly we should be updating so that we will be tackling geopolitical and technological landscape, right? Then I told before only, collaboration and coordination, cooperation, collaboration and coordination, all these are important with the private sector also. So encourage private companies to engage in cyber security, defense manufacturing and technological research for resilient security ecosystems. So yeah, with this we can end. I told before only, when we are ending we should leave with a good visionary statement. So what is that? So former National Security Advisor Shivashankar Menon emphasized the need for coherent, coordinated and comprehensive national security strategy for India in 21st century. What kind of national security NSS we want, national security strategy we want? It should be coherent, coordinated and comprehensive. So these three terms you keep in mind, so that we'll be repeatedly using these words: coherent, coordinated and comprehensive national security strategy. So this is about national security strategy. Even you revise, re-revise until you learn key terms. Okay, the terms are also important, understanding meaning is also important. I hope you understood the meaning and the concept. So try to memorize some of the terms, and we'll catch up on the next topic tomorrow.